Well, first of all, thank you both very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us today. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for having us.
Now, let's get straight into it. Let's have a look at the research that you've been carrying out.
So we started to analyze images that we found on Instagram using the hashtag suicide. And our results were pretty disturbing. A lot of the images that we found showed a lot of depressive content that seems to be idealizing or romanticizing suicide and self-harm, and almost nothing to actually no resources to help people find help for suicide, for self-harm. So that was really disappointing.
It's quite a disturbing picture, Holly.
Yes, it is. And social media is so popular today with today's youth, and it's something that people have in their cell phones, and they're using it in the context of not around their families, where the families can help them process the information that they are seeing. And so that's why we found it concerning that very vulnerable people like adolescents and youth are seeing this, and they look to each other as being role models for each other, and there's a potential there for some copycat type behavior.
Is this particular an issue for young people?
I think it's an issue for young people and vulnerable people in general.
Right.
When we look at media, whether it's social media or the more traditional media, people need to be able to process what they see. With social media, people are often taking that away, seeing images on their own. And I think it's concerning to us if they don't have somebody to help them understand exactly what they're seeing. Young people, vulnerable adults, I think they're all at risk.
But it's such an important issue that you're talking about, though, isn't it? Because by the nature of social media is a very much more individual interaction, isn't it? So how do you widen the conversation in the way that you're talking about?
And social media very much flies under the radar,
right.
Like you're saying. It's a very personal thing. But studies have shown that particularly youth are starting to get a lot of information, particularly even healthcare information, from social media, and they're taking away from that. I think it's important that social media take part of the responsibility in putting some resources out there for people who may be considering self-harm or death by suicide.
What's the kind of takeaway to people who are coming to this particular conference? Do we all have a responsibility to get involved here?
I think the question that you raise is very important. I think that parents, individuals within society have a role to play in terms of guiding more vulnerable people, guiding their children, process the media that's out there. We shouldn't necessarily have to rely on companies, because as we're noting in our research, Instagram has some policies that don't appear to be implemented.
Right.
It's not just Instagram. I think this is a problem with social media in general. So we really are looking for all the stakeholders, as psychiatrists, as family members, as companies. We all have a kind of social and moral duty to help protect individuals who are vulnerable at attempting or harming suicide. And may I interject and say that a lot of people who actually die by suicide have a psychological problem or a problem with substances, often undiagnosed and often untreated. And I think that's really important to highlight. There is help out there.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much indeed for talking to us. Really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
A fascinating study, so best of luck with that.
Thank you.